This is a dense forest in Madhya Pradesh. During daylight hours, it presents a picture of total tranquility, with sunlight filtering through a thick canopy onto the river below. A small human settlement sits right at the edge of this greenery. For the people living in these thatched roof huts, the forest isn't just scenery, it's the primary factor dictating their daily survival. Survival here depends on a single, rigid boundary. Once the sun drops below the horizon, a village-wide curfew takes effect, forbidding anyone from crossing the tree line until dawn. The community maintains this rule because of what happens after dark. Local accounts describe the sound of a young girl weeping, a noise that echoes out from the deep brush only when the sun is gone. In isolated environments, these narratives serve as psychological fences. They provide a clear, culturally enforced reason to avoid a hazardous landscape when visibility is at its lowest. Neha was 17 and known for her bravery. While she was near the forest edge with friends one evening, she momentarily drifted away from the group just as the light began to fail. In that moment of isolation, she heard the sound the elders warned about, a child's cry coming from somewhere behind the first row of trees. Neha assumed the sound was physical, a real person in immediate danger who needed her help. Guided by the sound, she stepped off the cleared path and followed the voice directly into the dark. By prioritizing her empathy over the village's warnings, Neha unknowingly handed the environment control of the situation. She was now operating on the forest's terms. The forest uses an acoustic mechanism to draw victims in. As Neha moved toward the crying, the sound shifted backward, remaining out of reach. This distorted her path, destroying any way to track her entry point. She was geographically isolated. As the evening light fades completely, the forest floor becomes a visual maze. The thick, twisted vines and massive trunks all begin to look identical in the shadows, leaving no landmarks to follow back to the village. With the sun gone, Neha's drive to help vanished. She was left in absolute panic, realizing she was stranded in a space where her senses could no longer be trusted. This environment functions by first stripping away a victim's sense of direction through sound, then using the darkness to ensure they remain isolated. Hours into the night, she discovered a ruined, dust-covered mansion. In the middle of a pitch-black forest, a physical structure feels like a refuge, even if it is clearly decaying. But the house wasn't silent. From the floor above, she heard a rhythmic tack, 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 the sound of someone walking across the boards of the empty upper story. Neha climbed the stairs and found an old oil portrait hanging on a wall thick with cobwebs. The smiling girl in the painting was an exact double of Neha herself. Then the activity turned aggressive. Doors began slamming shut on their own, and windows rattled violently as a disembodied voice whispered, "Don't leave me here alone." Neha fled the house, running back into the trees. The mansion acts as the focal point of the isolation. It provides a brief hope of safety, only to confront the victim with a version of themselves that shouldn't exist. Neha spent the rest of the night running blindly. At dawn, the villagers found her unconscious at the edge of the woods, having narrowly survived her time in the forbidden zone. When she shared her story, the village elder confirmed the details. Exactly 50 years earlier, a local girl had wandered into those same woods and was never found. The elder produced a yellowed photo of that missing girl. She was the same person Neha had seen in the mansion's portrait. On the back of the photo was a date, 15 July 1976. Underneath it was a single sentence, "I will return." Neha never returned to the forest, but the legend remains active. During monsoon rains, the villagers still report hearing the same crying and the same whispers calling from the dark. These stories persist because the cycle hasn't ended. As long as the rains fall and the whispers continue, the village is reminded that the forest is still waiting for the next person to listen.